This is a Kmart production, brought to you by Dudzik Chiropractic and MJB Electric. Welcome to ZaBillsPodcast. If this is your first time, we discuss the Bills games while we review two different Buffalo pizzas. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Listener's discretion is advised. ZaBillsPodcast.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. F*** it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back, ZaBills fans. We are here, sticking to the every other week. We have a special episode. We have one of our sponsors here tonight. First, I will say hello to Dennis.
How you doing?
And good. How are you?
Good.
Good. I got Mike at the other end, directly across, eye to eye.
Not the important Mike, though.
How you doing, Mike?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm good.
Good.
We'll go to Sean next. Okay. Sean, how you been?
Kyle, good.
Good. I see you're wearing your Bruins garb.
They got to wear it while they're still in playoff contention.
Yeah.
It won't be for long.
Yeah.
Garb is short for garbage.
So what team do you switch to when they're out of the playoffs?
The Capitals?
No, my season's over.
Hey, Ovechkin might do it. I mean, maybe not this year, but...
Dude,
I don't know.
Hat trick?
He's got a hell of a chance this year.
He'll do it.
He's got, 13 left and 26 games or something like that?
Fuck, he'll do it.
Fuck.
No.
All right. Most important person tonight.
Yes.
We have Mike from MJB Electric is here.
In the house.
He is here.
I am here,
Thank you so much.
but I'm not the most important mic at the table.
Oh,
Are we talking about the ones we're talking
Yeah,
into?
we're talking into him, exactly.
Is that what you were talking about?
I 100%.
There we go.
Absolutely.
did you guys script that?
No, the problem is he tends to know most of my dad jokes before I tell them.
Oh,
So I have a rule when you're hanging out with MJB.
yeah.
If it's quiet and he randomly starts to giggle, run.
He's got a joke coming?
Or he's going to stink you out of the room. One of the two.
Either way, it's a giggle, huh?
Either way, run. Just run. Here comes that's not fair.
It's not fair at all, and it's also true.
We can edit that out if we need to.
Why? Truth hurts
We're not going to.
We can edit that out.
Hey, MJB brought Southern Tier. What?
Cinnamon candy apple.
Okay, Sean, you ready? We're going to do this on the pod.
Okay.
Are you going to just
I'm
dump
gonna
it?
shot it.
You're going to shot it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm
All
gonna
right,
shot
I'm going to sip it a little bit.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay, Sean. Wow.
You need the gasoline.
That was like 4 shots right there. That was like 4 swigs. Not bad, dude. Jesus, like...
Brian, I'm going to be honest with you. That smells like pure gasoline.
Oh, you have it on the ready. Look at you.
Oh, yeah. She's on a hot button.
Not terrible.
I will tell you this. I think I like this one the most so far.
Wow. That says everything.
That's
for
fair.
Kyle, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
So like I was saying before, like earlier,
I bet you this is good with junk.
the pumpkin whiskey is good. The s'mores is good. I know you didn't like it.
You sure I had that, Mike?
Of the other flavors.
Actually, I'm not sure. I brought you the orange beam. I'm not sure if we did the s'mores here. Actually, I thought about it after.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, this is my favorite go-to.
Okay.
Of the Southern Tier flavors that they make. I would like Southern Tier to make a Samoa This flavored whiskey. For those of you at Southern Tier listening,
They
let's
do.
make this happen.
They do.
They make they made a Samoa This flavored stout a couple years ago.
It was so good.
It was absolutely disgustingly good.
Wow.
They need to do that with the whiskey.
I want. This might be really good, Sean,
It's
if you put
smooth.
ice in it.
Yeah, it's smooth.
So, Sean, do you like this better, or did you like the... Oh, what the fuck was that drink he was drinking?
Lululemon.
Blue, you remember?
Of course.
The Blue Lululemon.
I like this better. I don't like beer at all.
Well,
truth be told.
okay.
I'll get a bottle. I'll get a bottle for us.
This-
This or...
You're Jack Fire.
Oh, well, you know what? I spice that up. I do Jack Fire and Coke. So
Okay.
that's my drink. That's my go-to drink. If I got to go drink, if I'm drinking, that's what I do.
Jack Fire and Coke's a good drink.
That's no one's ever heard of it before. I take it like I created it. Like really haven't done that, but yeah. But that was really good. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. It reminded me of the other Sean. We got two mics here. The other Sean does moonshine apple pie.
Oh yeah,
That's also fun.
I've had some of that too.
yeah.
It is
Sean B?
Yep, it is the greatest liquor I've ever had.
He makes it because I
makes it.
I've made it too.
He makes it. He's got a secret recipe he will not tell us about. He'll look you in the eye and say, "You will have to like
Try it
shoot
on
me.
my
I
dead
won't.
hands.
I'll take this to my grave."
I'll tell you how.
This
I
is
made
not
it.
bad.
And it's smooth. It's like 123 proof. It's high octane. But that was the closest thing I've ever had to his great apple pie.
Hey! How often does he make it? If we give him enough heads up, maybe he can
Ask him soon.
Yeah, maybe
see if we can get him on.
It was great. It's fantastic. And it's the kind of alcohol you like because you can't even taste it. Like it's almost.
I can taste this.
Well, I can taste it too. But
You're saying Sean B's, you cannot taste it.
It's so smooth that you can drink it almost like you would guzzle like a umbrella drink and not.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely not mine.
Umbrella drink.
That's dangerous right there.
It's very dangerous.
That is definitely not mine.
It crashed our bike and booze. We had that was the first stop in our bike and booze when we had the moonshine.
Sean B came in the bike and booze?
He did, and it took people out. Yeah.
What did you do? Drive his car? Oh my God! Bring his bikes in?
Yeah,
nice.
I don't know what we did.
Did he come this past year?
No, I want to say maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Because he wasn't on the one I did.
No,
yeah,
he's usually.
Okay.
Shout out to Sean B. Thank you for.
We totally got sidetracked. Back to our main focus here is MJB and how he's been an amazing partner for us. Mike, why? Sean, do you have questions prepared for him yet?
Sure, I can roll right off this one.
No. I was just wondering if you already had him. I was going to start first.
Go for it.
So, Mike, what made you want to get into the field of electricity or becoming an electrician?
Good question. I failed as a model. So
How?
Well,
I don't buy that.
That was my question. There's a movie called Magic Mike, and
You were an extra.
I was the body double. Whenever they needed something without the face, like from the neck down, they would sub me in. And for some reason, my shots never made the cut. So, no, the truth is, so I just did. I bartended a bunch when I was younger. I was in retail management for a while, and I hated it. So I left retail, put myself through college as an adult, got a business degree, and then I absolutely didn't do anything with that. But decided, you know what, I want to work for myself. What am I going to do? Well, I like trade work, and I was working with a mutual friend of mine and Mike's, working with Brett, doing some electrical work. I loved it. And so I said, all right, I'm going to start a business of my own. And did that, and then here I am.
What age were you when you kind of came to this revelation?
I started this when I was 40.
Wow. So people out there,
now.
If you're never too old to switch careers and change paths, and so, John, you never know.
I know we do a lot of teasing, a lot of joking around, but this is actually serious for a second, and I mean it, Mike.
I have tissues.
His work is impeccable. He's almost too detailed. He's almost he's so
meticulous.
Well, meticulous is an understatement. And when he's done, you will not be disappointed.
I will not be taking the cover off of my fuse panel.
Mike won't leave. He'll just fix it before he goes home.
I've already looked.
You did? Damn. You saw that mess over there, huh?
You need me.
Yeah, I do. I know I do.
Actually, I didn't already look. I'm just messing with you.
No, that would have been perfectly acceptable.
Just
I got a couple questions coming up.
Real quick, another small world moment. The Brett he's talking about that he worked for, a mutual friend.
Brett Michaels?
Is where Gabe Davis came from.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
The
small world.
The Davis Hollands.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I had a question.
Okay, I got
quick.
one. Go.
Sorry
Nope.
Yeah, so I was wondering, what's the craziest thing that you've seen?
Oh, good question.
Some of the pictures he sends us they're hysterical. The stuff he comes across.
Well, I guess we have to make sure we
Electrical work, Mike.
specify electrical work.
Yeah.
Not foot picks or things like that.
Yeah.
They're going to regret
Honestly,
me inviting
so
you
This
on
is
here.
this is a natural after dark episode.
Yeah.
It is. Unfortunately, I don't really have anything. All of the things that I would consider to be something crazy really wouldn't mean anything to most people.
Yeah.
I guess the craziest thing that I've ever seen was I was in a basement starting a service change, and somebody somewhere had taken a those everybody's parents and grandparents had these around when they were a kid. There's a tin of butter cookies. The name started with a D, I think.
Is this the tin that used to turn into where you put all your
Yes.
buttons and all that shit?
100%.
Yeah.
Everybody had one in the house
Yep.
at some point.
Yep.
Somebody had taken one of those tins and turned it into a junction box.
You're kidding me.
No, on the board next to their electrical panel, and there were electrical cables coming into this box, and the lid was pressed on, and
Holy shit.
all these wires were wire knotted together in this butter cookie tin.
And that's
So-
why
so
I'm in
Dennis-
business.
That's
Or Sean, we're talking that is the cookie tin.
Yeah. Wow.
yeah, that's the cookie tin.
Well, I mean,
Holy
you know what?
shit.
I don't know if I would say that's crazy,
That's crazy.
but it's
I'll say it for you.
it's the strangest thing I've ever seen. Maybe the funniest thing I've ever seen.
So what about like, because you probably don't see crazy shit on like a commercial job site.
We don't do a ton of commercial work. We're very little.
Okay, folks. So when we say commercial or residential, we're going to change that to residential.
But he does do some commercial.
We do a little bit of commercial in certain areas in the right circumstance, but we're mostly residential.
Okay. So you haven't come across like freaking birds and shit like living in people's fuse panels or
No,
like
nothing
some
like that.
crazy people that put some real hackery jobs like inside of a outlet or something, like when you pull a receptacle out and they got all kinds of shit going on in there.
I've come across a few of those.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. Mice, couple of dead mice, dead squirrel.
The one job that I was helping you at, we found exposed wires in the wall,
Yeah,
and they were hot.
Yep.
Oh shit.
Like just nothing on them. I mean, it's insane.
I've
to
come
me.
across that kind of stuff. We were doing a service call in North Buffalo, and somebody had, they were getting what we call a dead short, which is where a circuit breaker trips and you go to reset it and it won't reset. Mm-hmm. It stays in the flipped position. So that means that there's a fault somewhere in the branch circuit. So you start by taking all the devices in that branch circuit apart. Device means either receptacle or a switch. So you start taking everything apart, see if you can find something wrong in any one of those. Nothing wrong. Okay. What else is on the circuit? If there's a few lights, then take those apart and see if you can find it in there. So we took everything apart, and there was absolutely nothing in any of them. And so now it's okay. Well, there's still a fault somewhere. Where is it? Turned out, so I had to turn that job over to my buddy Tony.
Tony. Hey, Tony.
Tony's with Empire Electric. He's been a good mentor to me, and it's a good dude. So I called him and I said, "Hey, I can't continue with this job. Can you take it over for me?" He's like, "No problem." He got somebody over. I had told the homeowner the next step is opening walls because we can't find anything visible.
Right.
So they started tearing open one of the...
And the problem is that with this dead circuit, anything you plug in is not getting power.
Right.
Right. Okay.
And this was back bedrooms, a guest room, and then the bathroom.
Okay.
And all three of those things shouldn't be connected together anyways, because the bathroom should be on its own. But
Yep.
the next time I talked to him, he told me they found there were a couple of wires that were illegally spliced together in a wall cavity, and then somebody covered it. And something happened with, it wasn't done correctly. It wasn't put in a junction box, which is supposed to be accessible.
Yep.
And the connection wasn't correct. If the connection is correct, it's not really going to come apart. You're supposed to leave it in a junction box, and it's supposed to be accessible. Would it have ever been a problem? No. But it's never supposed to be like. But regardless, there was a problem with that connection, and it was literally just something that was put together in a wall cavity and then covered up.
Unreal.
I got a follow-up question, which you kind of alluded to already, but why is it important to hire a pro like you instead of trying to do it yourself?
Wow, you're throwing compliments out left and right, Sean.
Just throwing it out there. I had a legit question. You asked
This guy's head.
We already
This
asked that
this
one.
guy's going to need a bigger set of headphones
I'm
here.
not going to lie. The southern cinnamon thing is hitting me.
Your face is all red.
I've written that down.
Your face is
Drink
all
till he's
red
cute. Is that what you're saying?
That won't take much. So I think there's a lot of guys out there. I've met a lot of electricians and a lot of contractors, and there's a lot of guys out there that take a lot of pride in what they do and are good at what they do. Think the difference between hiring and I know a couple of guys that do handyman work too. In our industry, typically the idea of hiring a handyman over an electrician would be something that we would say, never ever do that.
When you say handyman, are you talking like someone like myself who's a weekend warrior that can put a receptacle in here and there, but...
Yeah, a jack of all trades.
Sure.
I know a couple of guys that do that work, and they do very good work.
Sure.
A professional electrician is going to know more and is going to have a lot more experience with installation methods, with materials, with how to troubleshoot, and with code book standards. And really that's what it comes down to. Making sure that you're getting somebody that knows all of those things.
Okay. So, Sean, not having me come over and wire your bathroom.
I think you do a fine job, Kyle, but I'm going to trust MJ.
Yeah.
Electric.
MJB, yeah.
MJB Electric over you. He sold me.
Hey, what about people that, maybe it's code, ground wires to water pipes in the basement or something?
So, yeah, you're supposed to have a couple of different ways to connect to Earth.
Okay.
And that's one of them.
Oh, okay. So that's still cool.
Correct. And not only is it still a good thing to have, but it's actually still required by code.
Okay.
Technically speaking, it is considered you're supposed to connect from your load center to your water meter and then jump across your water meter in one continuous piece. So oftentimes you don't see that. Sometimes you just see a jumper. You'll see something that connects from your load center to a pipe close by, and then you go over to your water meter, and then you just see a little jumper across the water meter because the water meter itself is not conductive.
Okay. So when you say load center, are you talking fuse panel?
The electrical panel.
Okay. I asked for you, Sean, just in case.
Appreciate that.
No problem.
Okay, Mike, why would you recommend the youth who are listening to consider getting into this field as a career? Because my son, I believe, is interested in the trades.
It's never going away. You can't automate this.
Right.
What we do.
I'll even take that a step further. It's not only not going away, but I think the demand is going to go up just simply because the kids in trades are going to go down. So,
the demand is always going to be there for sure. Yep. Vocational schools and trade schools are trending up, and there's more kids coming out of vocational schools and trade schools now than there have been in a long time, but the need is still there. And there's a ton of options. If you're young and you want to get into trade work and you're not sure what direction you want to go, you can go and join the electrical union, and you can start that way and figure out whether or not you like it. You can go and work for somebody that owns a small company like mine. The path that you take is really going to depend on what you want out of it. Do you want to own your own business? Do you want the security of collecting a paycheck every single week with great benefits? So that's what would make you decide whether or not you want to go the union route or whether or not you want to go and work for somebody so that you can get some time in and then become licensed and go on your own and open your own company. So
what are, besides a steady union paycheck and the benefits, what is the positive for owning your own electrical business? I know some of them, but you know. Sure.
So for me, the primary benefit is working for myself.
Sure.
Making my own schedule, working for myself, being my own boss, being in control of my own destiny and, you know, what I do. There's, of course, a huge downside. When it's slow, if we go through a couple of weeks, a month, 2 months where it's slow, if we have a contractor that owes us a ton of money for, you know, some big projects we've done for them, I don't pay myself. I have to pay my guys and make sure they're taken care of. So that's a big downside. And I've been dealing with that on and off since the fall.
How many guys do you have?
My brother Nick and another young guy named Noah.
Okay.
Both spectacular. If I could clone the two of them and every person I hired in the future was like one of the two of them, we'd all be millionaires because they're highly productive. They're incredibly smart. They're genuinely good dudes that care about everything they do. And they're very ethical, which is humongously important to us. And it's a great business model to be able to have those guys available to you. And when you need somebody to rely on and you have those guys available, it's fantastic.
Could you say more about why it's so critical or crucial for you to have two guys, like you mentioned, that are ethical?
Because, so for example, we did a service call, and we're actually going back tomorrow morning to do a little bit more work for her because she is having a few more issues. We went and did a service call for her name's Kelly. She lives out in Cheektowaga, nice woman. She owns a townhouse. She owns the whole thing. She rents out one side and lives in the other. And previous tenants did some some do-it-yourselfer type of electrical work in the apartment without her knowing it. And she's already got a tough setup there because she's got a lot of aluminum wiring in there.
Aluminum wiring?
The aluminum wiring itself isn't dangerous per se, but when you're connecting aluminum wire to a receptacle, or if you're adding a new receptacle, it has to be a very specific type.
May I ask why or where you would be using aluminum wire?
Aluminum wire was used for a very specific amount of time in a relatively short amount of time in the late 70s and 80s.
Because it was cheap?
Because it was cheaper.
Okay.
And aluminum doesn't conduct electricity the same as copper. It's more resistance. So you have to have a thicker gauge aluminum to conduct the same amount of electricity as copper. So anyways, we replaced some receptacles for her that were burned out. We did some basic, things to try and fix some issues that she was having. And, it was important that when we went in there to do this work, she's trusting that we're going to find the problem, fix only that problem, and then bill her only for that. So we found the problem and we fix it. And the challenge then is, how many more problems do we see? Do we start fixing everything that we see and continue to fix things she didn't ask us to fix? The answer is no. You don't do that.
Right.
Because then if I'm sending her a bill for things that she didn't ask me to fix, then
Right.
that's a problem.
Sure.
And she maybe is willing to pay it, and I might be justified in asking for her to pay for work that we did, but she didn't ask us to fix everything. She just asked us to fix.
I would assume if you come across other things that she didn't ask you, and you mentioned, hey, listen, we also noticed this. This is something you might want to do.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right, but doing it ethically.
But doing it ethically is important, because you have to build trust. I think if you do things for people that they don't ask, people figure it out.
Right.
And people aren't stupid. Even somebody that doesn't know anything about electricity, I might be able to lie to them a little bit here and there, but I think in general people are relatively smart, and it's better to just keep things on the up and up.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. I'm one of those people that have no idea what the hell is going on with electrical. So I appreciate that. That's good.
And pizza. And no, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
I love
What's wrong
you.
with it?
I'm just kidding. I will say this really quick on the ethics thing. One of my former CEOs for the company I work for said something that I'll never forget. He said, as long as you don't do anything illegal, immoral, or unethical, whatever you do, we can fix. Don't worry about it. Go do your thing. And that's kind of what you're talking about, right?
100% what I'm talking about.
Yep.
So it's part of our business philosophy. Nick and I talk about it all the time. We talk to Noah about it all the time. It's a huge part of what we do. You have to be trustworthy, and you can't earn the trust of people in the community if you aren't ethical.
Sure.
So,
and the most effective and least expensive form of advertisement is what?
Word of mouth.
Yep. And if you start screwing people, it'll get around quick.
It'll get around quick. People will figure it out, and
Right.
and you won't last.
Right.
So,
another question I have is for the youth that are considering going into the trades, why would you recommend them, or maybe you don't, I don't know, but why would you suggest electrician over plumber?
I wouldn't necessarily specifically request or suggest electrician over plumber. What I would say actually is take a look at both.
Okay.
And see if you can figure out which one you like more than the other.
Okay.
Because there's positives and negatives to both.
Yeah.
Plumbers sometimes have to snake out drains and deal with sewage and things that are real unpleasant. Electricians, sometimes we have to get into crawl spaces and attic spaces. There's a job we're going to be doing. We have a kitchen remodel coming up in Williamsville on Wednesday, and one of them is going to be in the attic space where there's a ton of insulation and it's dirty up there. It's probably squirrels crawling around up there.
I heard Mike's available.
Mike's available.
You think I fit in the attic?
I asked, and he's busy that day.
Oh, Sean's available.
Sure.
He's wearing a Bruins jersey.
He's out.
I don't have the confidence that.
No, I hear
I'm
you.
not ethical.
No, but seriously, I think there's positives and negatives to both, and I don't necessarily think that I'd be interested in trying to promote one profession over the other.
Okay.
What I would say to our young people that are interested in trades is try a little bit of everything and see what you like. If you figure out that you are really good at hand-eye coordination, a steady hand, and have the ability to concentrate on something, try welding. If you really like putting things together, and you really like troubleshooting, try electrical or plumbing. HVAC is another one that's really great. There's a number of trades out there that are really fantastic. And I think that, kids that are interested in trades should take a look at all of them and maybe try a couple of them out and then see what they like.
Yeah.
Mike, I want to bring this back to ZaBills and get you off the hook a little bit because we've kind of put you under the microscope here, and we appreciate all of your...
Are you done asking questions about this?
Oh, yeah. I'm
Kyle's like, hang on, he's still on the spot.
Kyle's gone.
All right, I thank you so much for answering all those questions.
Absolutely.
Not you, him.
I know that, but transitioning, I got that. Give us your overview of the Buffalo Bills.
Nice segue.
See how I got you off the hook there real quick?
I think he was enjoying talking
I
about
know,
that.
but you know what? I think he felt he was under the gun, like an interview almost, where it was.
It was an interview.
I know.
Knew
We
that.
gotta loosen it up a little bit for him. Let him enjoy it.
It's such a combination of good and bad things.
Right.
Spectacular in the sense that so I listened to a little bit of sports talk radio.
You're human, we know.
I listen to I'm usually on Mad Dog Sports Radio. That's my favorite station. Listen to Adam Shine a lot. He's one of my favorites. Most everybody gave us no chance this year. We heard all the same things, and this is across the board. Actually, I mentioned Adam Shine because credit to him, he was not one of the ones that picked against us, but almost everybody else did.
Yeah.
And he's almost always right with his football predictions. Almost everybody else picked against us, and I love the fact that we gave the middle finger to everybody that picked against us. So in that sense, there's some cliches out there about playing with house money and, so on. I enjoyed the fact that we gave everybody the middle finger. I hate the fact that we lost again. I hate the fact that we lost the way that we did. Again.
Yeah.
This is the first year where after a playoff loss where I didn't blame Sean McDermott and I didn't say, oh my God, he did it to us again.
Ask Kyle about that.
What about that?
Kyle,
No, keep going.
So the first year that I didn't blame Sean McDermott, I have said for years, we'll never win a Super Bowl with him as a head coach.
You're welcome back on anytime.
And my point has always been, it's not that he's isn't a good head coach. Mike loves to talk about culture. It's his favorite topic. So we can talk about culture. It's not that he's not good at developing talent or any of those things, but for whatever reason, it seemed like there was always some sort of a really big game management decision that turned out to cost us substantially in every game. And it wasn't just one, there would be many throughout the course of a game. I think this is the first year where that didn't really happen.
Yeah.
So, and really since the Texas game, the decision to allow our offense to try and throw the ball 20 yards downfield for 3 plays in a row from late in the game from the goal line. Since then, I didn't really see him making really any mistakes. So when you combine all of those things together, I'm more hopeful now than I have been in a while, because now I'm starting to feel like, with him seemingly learning from past mistakes, and when you have JA17, you're always in contention.
And we've said that many times on this podcast. Yep.
Yeah. So now I'm disappointed in the way it ended, because we could have been in the Super Bowl, and we could have been the ones getting crushed by the Eagles.
That was my question to you. I was going to ask you, do you think that the outcome of that Super Bowl, substitute the Buffalo Bills for the Kansas City Chiefs, would have been any different?
I don't necessarily think that it would have been any different.
Yeah.
I'm a realist. I understand where we're at. I think that I think it's very fair to say that we probably would have not done much better against the Eagles, but also to say that we still should have been the ones to be there.
I will tell you this, that Adam Schefter reported today that, it didn't say who, an NFL team has submitted a rule proposal to ban the tush push.
Yep.
It's fair.
Yeah, I saw that too. They're not saying who did it though.
Yeah.
Has anybody heard of the Kansas City Chiefs?
So to go back to what you were talking about, Sean's question to you is maybe without it, of course, without the tush push, maybe we would have beat Kansas City because our tush push wouldn't work.
Right.
Well, MJB, do you think that Sean McDermott approved all 17 tush-push attempts?
Probably not, but he's the head coach. He's responsible for them.
Yeah.
Right.
The head coach is responsible for every decision.
The final decisions.
I've had this conversation with others before, too. You can go back to 13 seconds.
Oh.
Just because it was Leslie Frazier's defense doesn't mean Sean McDermott's not responsible.
Or the special teams coach.
He should have called timeout and said, wait a minute, guys, this is not the correct way to play this.
Well, Frazier was defense. That's, to me...
I'm talking about on the defensive side when we gave them so much room.
Oh, gotcha.
You talking about the Kelsey catch where they were only rushing? They were rushing, right? They changed it to 2 or 4. What did they do on that play?
I think 2. I think
they played your favorite prevent defense.
We had a whole.
No. Like I thought the problem was what we couldn't get to Mahomes with 4 guys, and they were going to try it with 2.
Right.
Yeah, we dropped most of our team 30 yards downfield
to
prevent them from going over the top, and then we gave them 2 free, 15, 20-yard plays that got them into field goal.
So they got the 30 yards. They just didn't do it in one play.
You know what I just realized? They played Elam back before Elam was Elam.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
So, ultimately that is McDermott because even though that's Leslie Frazier's defense,
right.
He's the head coach. He's got to stop. He's got to call timeout and stop it and say, this is not the way to do this. We need to go back to playing some form of defense, which was not what we were doing on that play.
Yeah.
And so
was it the Chiefs game where he wasted a timeout because he wasn't prepared for?
Are you talking about the Rams game?
No, I thought it was a playoff game when McDermott wasted a timeout because they weren't expecting to. Oh, what the hell play was it? Mike, what was the play where McDermott wasted a timeout and where they weren't prepared to have 2 plays called because of they scored a touchdown or they didn't get it and he wasted a timeout when he should have had a second play ready to go if he didn't get it?
Right. So they lined up. I don't remember the specifics.
Was it the Chief game?
It wasn't the Chiefs game.
Okay.
But they lined up for a play that they didn't like. So instead of having a ready audible, they called a timeout, went back out, and still didn't execute it after the timeout.
Okay. Yep. MJB, I had an issue with him since the beginning until about this year because what drove me absolutely bananas all the time was how he would try to draw you off and then he would waste a timeout anyways. And he wouldn't run the fucking play instead of just, you're going to punt it anyways. Take the stupid delay a game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he was notorious for wasting timeouts in games where you definitely used them.
And that kind of leads into what you were saying about the timeouts. If he doesn't do that and waste the timeout there, he has a timeout at the end of the game to call a timeout to say, hey, we're playing the wrong defense. We got to do something else.
Yep. 100%. You have to have those available at the end of the game when you need them. 100%.
Yep.
I would have probably, if it was my team, I would have moved on from him already. But the sad part is who are you going to move on to?
Well, that's
been
just
our
it.
struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were each year there's been a couple of options out there.
I will say this though, that I think overall this year compared to last year, there was a marked improvement. I think.
Sure.
Yeah, I think he had a better year this year.
100% agree.
Yeah.
And he's built us a great organization and
Culture.
fantastic culture.
I can't talk more about that culture.
And
Best around.
Developing talent is something he's obviously very good at getting a lot out of our players. He's very good at.
What about Ed Oliver?
What about him? He's way bigger than me.
Well,
That's fair.
I don't have anything bad to say about him. And if you're
mean-
listening, I love you.
Right.
I guess I'll ask you, what did you think of the overall defensive line this year? Do you think that they definitely have got to make some upgrades on the D-line?
It's very clear that because we spend most of our time in a nickel package, relying on the athleticism and the speed of our secondary, we kind of neglected that front. And pass rushing wasn't necessarily a strength of ours per se, but stopping the run was abysmal.
Yeah.
And every team knew that all they needed to do was come in there and run it down our throats, and they were going to have success against us.
Yeah.
Ironically, it was our ability to stop Derrick Henry that gave us a chance to beat Baltimore.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to call that a fluke, but it certainly wasn't. That certainly wasn't what we did for most of the season. So I was certainly expecting Derrick Henry to just pound us.
I think we all were. Yeah.
And you know, we were going to have to beat them in a shootout.
Right.
It turned out to not be that way, and sometimes football is like that. But we need upgrades, and we need upgrades of the defensive line.
I was actually going to go there next. So just defense. Yeah. Just defense. What's your wish list?
Good question.
Oh man. So I can throw the you know, a lot of people are talking about bringing Myles Garrett over.
Would love to see it happen.
I would 100% love to see that happen.
Yeah. Kellen, I got you. Yeah. Well, Kellen is Professor Pizza's in the background whispering to his dad, Joey Bosa, because what's happening right now is they're saying that it's very, very likely that Bosa is going to be a cap casualty in San Diego, and that we're supposedly the top of the list where not only we need, but he wants.
Really?
Supposedly.
I think we should bring him and Myles Garrett over, and that would be fine.
and Max Crosby? We'll call him Max Crosby. Let's go.
Oh, man.
So here's a name that not everybody has thought about, I think, probably.
Lawrence
What about
Taylor.
Micah Parsons.
Yep, that's another one.
Micah Parsons is another name out there. Yeah.
Did you bring that up in the last podcast?
Somebody
I thought
did.
about that.
But that would be a trade, right?
Yeah.
That would be a trade, yeah.
So Myles Garrett would be a trade. Micah Parsons would be a trade.
Micah Parsons is like 4 or 5 years younger than Myles Garrett.
Okay.
I think wasn't Myles Garrett released?
No, he's still there.
it'd be a trade.
He's a trade.
Yeah.
I thought that, well, Cleveland had some interesting verbiage, right? That he's not going anywhere for now.
For now, right? Because all he's going to say is,
reassuring.
"I'm not going to play another snap for you."
Right.
We're going to go to hockey, and you'll probably remember this. Patrick Waugh is playing for Montreal.
December 7th.
Gets his ass.
Oh, that's a day that's infamy, though. That's an easy
a bad
one.
day, huh?
That might be right.
That's an easy one.
Gets his ass kicked. They're just Montreal is getting
I think it was
hammered,
against Detroit.
and goal after goal after goal, and they refuse to pull Patrick Waugh.
Right.
And when I don't know if
7
they
goals.
finally pulled him, or if it was
Yeah.
the end of a period or what, he skated to the bench. He looked at the coach. He goes, "I'm never playing another play for this team ever again." And he walked off, and they traded him to Colorado, and he won a cup.
They had to.
Unreal.
Yep.
I guess if you're that good, you can
Call
do
your
that.
shot.
And that's where Myles Garrett is. I think he's that good. He's I think we
Would you say that he's probably the number one free agent for the defensive fronts?
Well, he's not a free agent.
No.
He's
okay.
yeah. But he's
Prospect.
Yeah, he's out there. I mean, he's definitely up there.
Who would you put higher than him?
Well, the reason why I'm saying it that way is because there are some guys that are really good that are potentially available. Max Crosby, again, it's a trade, but potentially available. What I like the most about Myles Garrett, not only is he, a nominee for Defensive Player of the Year, if he didn't lead the league in sacks, he was up there at the top of the sacks. He wants out. And he said, someone asked him, "What are you willing to do with your contract to go play for a contender, and his response was anything necessary.
And I'm going to add a little bit to it because he's not a true free agent. You have to really consider what are you going to give up for these guys.
Right.
If you're a free agent and it's not going to cost you nothing but salary, that's one thing. He's not a legit because, okay, you've got to weigh what I'm going to trade to get that guy and then pay that guy.
Listen, we'll go round and round and round about that, Sean. Like, I'm willing, if...
I'm just going to say Von Miller.
Gone.
I get it, but
He's
that's
gone.
we did that. We had that experience.
Unfortunately, that was a mistake.
The Von Miller thing, I don't think was a mistake.
Me neither.
I think it was the right call. He got hurt.
Yeah.
The injury changed
He
him
can't always
forever.
get hurt. So
Get
before
it.
he got hurt, though, he was pretty good.
Dominant. I would say he was dominant.
Yeah, definitely.
Would he have 6 sacks by Thanksgiving?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So I mean, I don't think that was a mistake whatsoever. I think that he got hurt, and it was a bad injury. It wasn't like he just pulled a hamstring.
But
it was a bad injury.
that's part of the game, and you're going to have to pay him one way or
And his
another.
second one, by the way.
There's nothing to say that a guy we bring in isn't going to get hurt again. The mistake might be is, do you want to tie up that much money into a single player, or do you want to take that money and spread it out amongst 2 or 3 players?
Well,
He's
I
our
agree.
second highest cap hit
Yeah.
this coming season.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yep.
Here are the top 13.
Good transition.
Yes, he set me up for the slam dunk here, the alley oop.
I would
Top
say
13
I would say
cap
that's
hits.
an electrifying transition.
It was.
Oh, nice.
I love you.
Too.
What?
Spot track too.
Okay.
I don't know if that's what you're. Are you doing spot track? What are you doing? Oh, same thing. Okay.
Did you bring an iPad?
I did.
Wow. Genius.
This
I don't see
is
that
a
well.
real podcast, Mike.
Yeah, I don't see that well. So like the little phone.
I'm lucky I remembered my
amazing.
keys.
Everyone,
I'm lucky I remembered my keys and I drove here.
I'm sure everyone knows who our number one cap hit is. Sean?
Von Miller.
Josh Allen.
Where was I?
No,
It's Southern tier. Apple.
No, it's Kyle Wood.
It's hitting me.
Kyle Wood.
Who the hell's that?
Top cap hit.
I think he's screwing with you.
Oh, my God.
I got that.
I think he's taking a couple too many jolts at work.
Josh Allen,
Electricity's fun.
44.7 million.
Which is probably going to
get restructured.
Yep.
Yeah.
Von Miller, number 2, 23.8.
And that's after his restructure.
Yeah, he already restructured for us last year.
Yeah.
He gone, right? Aren't they?
I would think so. But
You saying no?
But no, I'm saying yes, but he's a June one, right?
after June 1.
It's got to be after June 1.
I think there's a possibility he stays.
If they cut him, release him, bring him back cheap.
Or just restructure in general.
Or restructure him. And him and I were talking about this in the driveway
Of our
outside of the studio. So there's 2 types of athletes at the end of their career. There's the type that wants to chase the money because they don't give a fuck if they win again. And then there's the type that really wants to win another championship or their first. No, he's not looking for his
No,
first.
this would be his third.
This would be his third.
Yeah.
But he really seems to love Buffalo, and he really seems to want to be a part of bringing a Super Bowl here.
The only other thing I'll add to that too is, and we've talked about this on this podcast before, he wants to be a GM in the league. He's been open about that. He wants to be a GM in the league. So I think a lot of what he is doing, especially with his restructure last year, potentially this year, is he's setting himself up for that conference room discussion with an agent. Say, well, I did it. I did it.
That makes perfect sense.
Has anyone else seen all the shit on Facebook? I know you can only believe half of it, where they're linking that Von Miller is let go and goes back to Denver.
Well, first of all, Kyle, I want to tell you that anything on the internet's true. So
yes, thank you.
100%.
But yeah, I have seen that, and why not? I mean, that's his home, right?
Sure.
So
I still am of the belief that we may see him in a Bills uniform again this year.
Okay.
It wouldn't surprise me. And if it happens, it'll have to be because he restructured again.
Oh, yeah.
Or if they do figure out some sort of release resign deal of some sort.
Yeah.
But I think he wants to be here.
Yeah.
And I think he's willing to figure out some sort of a way to restructure, take a little less money to stay, because I'm under the impression that he's more interested in the championship than chasing additional money.
well, and you know why else he
thought
wants
that
to
too.
stay here? Culture. Yeah.
Speaking of that, they probably all want to stay on this roster, so Josh invites him to the wedding.
True story.
Do you think he'll invite the entire roster?
Yeah.
I think he'll invite
and practice squad?
I think he'll invite the ZaBillsPodcast for sure.
Live on
I'm going to try to
I'm
make
You
that
definitely
happen.
should.
We'll announce it.
I'm already invited.
Oh. Number 3. Anybody want to take a guess other than Dennis who's looking at it?
I think I could be wrong, but I think it's oh my god, his name is this wide receiver.
Russo.
No, wide receiver.
Russo.
I know he's got big hands, but
Southern
Jesus.
Tier Distillery.
Matt Milano.
number 1. What the hell's his name?
No.
All right, Mike. Sorry, it's
Curtis
Ed.
Samuel?
It's Ed Oliver.
Oh, okay. Curtis
Oliver.
Samuel's up there though, right?
He's on the list somewhere.
Yeah.
So Ed Oliver, 20.6.
Okay.
Deion Dawkins, 20 mil.
20,000. What a deal.
Yeah, right. Jesus, Dawkins is 20.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Same.
He just signed a new. I think he just signed a new deal before the year.
That's a lot of money. Skip, shout out to Skip. He sent me something today on Instagram. Deion Dawkins is like one of 6 or 7 linemen who did not allow a 3rd or 4th down sack.
Yeah.
Yep.
I talk so much shit about that guy too.
I
What
do
the
too.
fuck?
Well, you know why?
And then
Because he
gets
does
these stats.
get some false starts, right? And
Sure.
that's what everyone sees. But
Oh, so sacrifice a sack, give up a false start, and
I'll
push
tell
him
you
back.
what, I will take. I don't know how many false starts do you think you got throughout the course of the year.
17 or 18.
Yeah.
Okay. So one a game. Let's
Okay.
just say
Yeah,
one
yeah,
a game.
yeah, yeah.
I'll take a false start a game
Sure.
to help protect that
100%.
quarterback. I mean,
Right.
Josh, took the least amount of sacks of his career, if not close.
Yep.
He had the least amount of turnovers of his career. I mean, that has to do with pressures. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I'm okay with it.
In order
Okay.
to keep him healthy, in order to keep the window open so he can do his thing, our offensive line has to be
Top notch.
best in the league.
Yep.
It has shined, and it has carried that.
I would say like the
reputation.
Colosso Taco of tacos.
Wow.
Yeah, that's fair.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I wonder if we're going to do something like that in the future.
I have a feeling we might.
All right. Yeah, they're pretty good though. The offensive line, whether it's Torrance, whether they
Spencer
they
Brown
have
had a great
Spencer-
season, yeah.
they have been full value the last 2 years. They have been as advertised. They're being compensated, and that's a smart move.
Well, if you notice,
invested
you'll
so much
see,
money.
You'll
into-
see a trend on this list here.
All right.
Okay.
Matt Milano, 15.8. What do we do with him?
You know what? If you would have asked me that question 4 weeks ago, not playoffs,
Playoffs.
I would have been like, no way. However, in the playoffs and the last couple games, he really turned it up.
Sure did.
He changed, like all of a sudden it clicked and it made sense again. And he was playing, if not at, really close to the Milano level that we were used to.
Yeah.
And I said it when he was coming back from this injury, if we can get a healthy Milano out there
with Bernard,
next to Bernard, that linebacker, that's unstoppable.
like Orrin Park.
Yeah. So I'm okay with that number if that trend continues.
Sure.
But we won't know. And here's the other thing. I'm okay with that number if he's healthy.
Sure.
I mean, 2 years in a row, he had major injuries.
Yeah.
So, and then what happened in training camp? So,
Right.
And he's a natural leader too. Like he's you can point to Milano as the leader of the defense. Certainly not the player that Josh Allen is, but certainly he's kind of the guy that unifies that overall defense, which has overachieved again, regardless of what you know.
I'll push back just a hair.
I like
just
yes.
a hair. Just a hair.
I just glad you agreed to the Orr Park analogy.
Yes. I'm going to say you said that he is the leader of the defense. I'm going to say that's Bernard. And the reason why is one of the things I do because I'm old is when I sit up at night, I watch YouTube and the YouTubes. The players mic'd up is so much fun to watch and
Okay,
listen to.
that's fair.
And Bernard is leaps and bounds above everyone else. And it's not just great play. You believe that? It's a constant hype, constant talking to everybody, coaching, talking throughout the entire thing. I'm not saying Milano doesn't do that, but I don't. It's like
he's not a vocal. I get it. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
And he hasn't been out there a lot. The 2
right,
seasons.
and that's part of it too.
but having the two of them
Yeah.
out there together is priceless to me.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with everything you just said.
First time for everything.
We'll take this pause to give our sponsors a shout out.
I love it.
First one is Mike at MJB Electric. We used to say for commercial and residential needs, but we were updated that it's residential only now.
But he'll also do commercial too.
Yes, very little.
Residential and light commercial.
Are we talking like 90-10 split?
Yeah, 90-10.
Okay. Well, if you want to call Mike, who's here right now, give him a shout, 716-465-5017.
It'd be hilarious if your phone started.
Did you notice how he knew your number right off his head? Did you notice that?
I did. I know he's got to post it there.
High tech here at Southwest Nation.
I've known you for 40 years. I don't know your damn number.
And the funny thing is, I've had the same number my entire life.
I know I do. I remember.
Since the late 90s.
Yeah.
I've had the same cell number.
He just gave away all the podcast secrets.
There it is.
The podcast matters. The other sponsor we like to give a shout out to is Dr. Bob at Dudzik Chiropractic. Dudzik, D-U-D-Z-I-K, chiropractic.com, or 716-634-6272. And before Sean asks, he has 2 locations, one on Harlem Road, the other at Worley and Harris Hill.
I got to ask Mike while he's here. Mike, what do you think of that commercial we run once in a while?
You know.
Has he heard it? I don't know if he's heard.
Kyle,
What?
did your power go out again?
Geez, sounds like someone didn't pay the electric bill.
Well, it's probably that outlet that I tried to install for the arcade machine in our studio. But I'll tell you what, I definitely paid it because it's not like I'm spending money on pizzas.
Kyle, you better call Mike at MJB Electric at 716-465-5017.
You know what, Dennis? That is a fantastic idea.
I'm full of them.
All right, go Bills.
Go Bills.
That commercial.
That's fucking awesome. I love it. And
So as we can tell, Mike's an avid listener.
that's fucking great. It's almost shocking.
Wow. We got to get the symbols.
Oh, I don't have that.
No symbols.
Nope, I don't. Okay.
Has the doctor been on with you guys?
He has not yet. He's a busy guy. We're trying to get him on.
So I can't say that he's coming back
Oh!
because he's a chiropractor.
It's all right. We'll just adjust. That's fine.
Man.
Did you guys write these
That's
before you
pretty
showed up?
We've known each other a long time. Wow. Our wives hate us.
Okay, so we talked about Matthew. We're going to get to Dawson Knox. And this, Sean, is the guy I was telling you about that has a tricky contract that I think you just have to eat it and just sit it out. He's at 14.5.
The only hope you have with him, sorry, Sean. The only hope you have with him,
Kincaid gets hurt and he's the number one tight
no,
end.
is that he will also do the
Right
Von
thing.
Miller, the Josh Allen, hey,
I want to win more than
right.
money.
You want to stay here? You want to play with Josh, who seemingly is one of your best friends?
Yep.
Then you're going to need to kind of take a
Damn, Dennis, this next guy, I am shocked. 13.3, Greg Rousseau.
Yeah,
I
I was
think
very
he got
surprised
that.
too. So he's going to be on his 5th-year option coming up.
Damn.
So I guess the big thing is to whether or not they should sign him, long term.
It depends if you get a Bosa, and a Bosa can come in and get like 8 or so sacks. Maybe not.
The only thing that I don't like about Bosa, and I'm an Ohio
Injury
State
prone.
guy. Exactly. I'm an Ohio State guy. I love Nick Bosa. I love Joey Bosa.
Yep.
The injuries. He's just always injured, I feel like. You know.
Hey,
But so is Matt Milano.
Is Khalil Mack an option?
He's a free agent.
He is, yeah, he's a free agent.
What about him? Bring him back to Buffalo.
He'd be cheaper.
He's a little long in the tooth, I think, too.
Yeah,
But is he still a freak, though?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. I just wanted, when I was checking my ZaBills bingo card, I did not see long in the tooth on there.
Oh.
You're welcome. See, I'm broadening your horizon.
Yeah. Next, Daquan Jones, 9.4.
Yeah.
See ya?
That's tough, man, because when he's good, but that's a lot of money for the few times.
Here's what bothers me is Ed Oliver's 20.6 and Daquan's 9.4.
Right.
You get a better value, Sean,
I would agree.
out of Daquan than you do Ed Oliver, right?
Well, so Ed signed Ed. 'Cause I call him Ed because he's my friend. Ed signed.
Do you get to ride his ponies, too?
I groom them anyway.
You brush them?
He signed that new contract extension, whatever, before last season. So before in that season, he was lights out. Like, okay,
It's funny how that works.
he signs the deal. We all hate it. No. I'm not saying that. I'm not.
I am.
No,
I'm 100% saying that.
this is the season after he signed it.
No, he agrees with you. I think he agrees
He's saying
with
he
you.
got
but
paid and now he's playing like a puss.
Yeah.
No. He got paid and played an entire season where he was lights out.
Okay.
So before he got paid, he was mediocre. They signed him to this massive deal, and everyone's like, "What was that?" Lights out. He was incredible.
You're talking about last year.
And then he comes into this past year.
Yeah, this year not so
and
much.
what happened? You know what I mean? So his first year on the deal, I'm all for it. The second year on the deal, I'm like, can we average it out, or you know what I mean? So
Yeah, I mean, we're paying him a lot of money. I would hope that maybe he would kind of restructure a little bit.
It's a big ask, though, and this is the thing. With football players, whether you're going to be an electrician or you're going to go in, other trades, or you're going to go into chiropractic, education, we expect to have a long career.
What about field delivery?
Field delivery, too. Ice cream, Perry's, love that, too. But the bottom line is these guys only have a real small window.
Yep.
It's hard. It's easy for us to ask them, we need you to restructure your contract for the betterment of the team to bring a championship here. But this is their livelihood. This is their family.
Is this how you talk about the Bruins when they're in contract problems?
No, because they got a cap they got to deal with, right? But all athletes. It's not just the Bruins or the Bills or whatever.
No matter what, he's not going to not eat though.
Yeah,
because everybody does.
I know, yeah. But this is their livelihood. It's easy for us to poke at them and say, hey, restructure. You're
all right,
not
next guy.
I've thought about that a lot. I've thought about that with different players, and that I know that's how that goes. You can get hurt one play and never play again.
Yeah,
I get that.
See, it's a lot easier for a player like Josh Allen to restructure his contract because he's got multi-million dollars in endorsement deals.
Sure,
you get a guy like Ed Oliver. Where's his endorsement?
Right.
However, we've been joking about it, but there is that culture. I know I hate it. I hate talking about it, but sometimes the players just want to play here, And where they don't want to play? The Sabres, right? We've talked about this. The culture sucks. The team sucks. No one wants to play for that. And it's the same owner, which is totally confusing to me. But the players like to play here. They like to play with Josh.
Sean would like to play with Josh.
My wife would like to play with Josh. But
yeah, my wife would step over me. And
100%.
No, she wouldn't.
Absolutely. She'd walk right over
shit.
me.
So there's another part of this whole conversation, too. Some of it's positional. And depending on who we're talking about, so running backs, for example, shelf life of a running back in this league is real short.
I'm so glad you brought
these guys are done by 30 at the latest. Derrick Henry is probably going to be Derrick Henry for 10 or 15 more years. But everybody else,
right?
Yeah,
they're done by the time they're 28 to 30. Yeah. And so they have one shot and one shot only at a big money contract, and that's it.
Yeah,
So, but other guys, so a guy, we've talked about in a couple of these names already, and guys that we'd like to see restructure and stay. Some of them probably have more of an ability to say no and hold out than others.
Sure.
Depending on the position they play.
Sure.
So, it's one of the reasons, and I know we're going to get to James Cook at some point in time.
You will.
Pretty soon.
It's one of the reasons why he's looking to go after what he's looking to go after, because he's got one chance at a big payday, and that's it.
I mean, look what happened to his brother.
Yeah,
his brother was lights out in Minnesota.
He just fell off a cliff.
Yep, and nothing after that.
Yep.
Next on the list is Connor McGovern at 9.3.
Oh, I'm okay with that.
Is he the center?
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
So
that's the Mitch Morse replacement.
And so is he worth $10 million less than Deion Dawkins?
That's not fair.
Deion's protecting the blind side.
Worth more. Yeah. I think he's worth more.
More than Deion?
Well, not more than Deion, but
more than his contract.
Or they shouldn't be as far apart.
They shouldn't be as far apart.
You're saying they got good value from a coverage.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think he should get paid more.
Okay, 100% agree. And the drop off from Morris to McGovern is almost non-existent.
Oh, dude, I think there's a huge upgrade.
I was definitely part of the group of people that were really upset when I found out that we were moving on from Morris.
Yeah.
Because he was also a Buffalo guy through and through.
Yeah.
And had been with us for a while, and one of the best at his position. And there was no drop off at all.
I will tell you this:
some think it was an upgrade.
I actually do feel bad for Mitch Morse.
I do too.
This guy played center for the Kansas City Chiefs, left the Chiefs, signed with Buffalo. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl how many times?
Yeah.
Left us, went to Jacksonville. He's only going down, not up.
Right.
So, anyway, sorry.
Next on the list, Curtis Samuel, $9 million.
There he is.
Now, here's one. Spencer Brown, 8.2. He's even less than Connor McGovern.
That's a steal. So I saw one of the Bills people that I follow on Twitter, X, whatever, had a list of their awards, their MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, blah, blah, blah. They voted Spencer Brown the most improved.
Yep.
Yeah, and I agree with that 100%. And if he plays anywhere near the level he played, it took him to like what, week 15 or 16 to allow a sack?
Yeah.
I mean, so for me, that's a steal.
Yep.
And that doesn't say how long his contract is?
I don't have that. Sean or Dennis, can you scroll to the right and see that?
Let me see here.
I don't have that. I just
iPad technology.
Taron Johnson, $8 million, and the last of the 13 list is AJ Epinesa, 7.4. I would probably restructure him or cut him.
Johnson's worth every penny.
Yep.
Epinesa, I can do with or without.
Yep.
If he's here, I don't hate it. If he's gone, I don't hate it.
Same.
So
Great first name, but
Absolutely the same.
I'm
Does he like Christmas lights too? Or?
loves Christmas lights.
That's a whole other story. I'll tell you. Actually,
Spencer Brown, 4 more years.
Okay, so
steal.
4 years at that price,
Steal.
I can
What's
almost
Dan
guarantee
Dawkins?
you he doesn't make it that long. I think he's going to want more money.
Dawkins is only 2 more.
Okay. I cannot believe that Greg Rousseau is getting 13.3 and AJ Epinesa is getting 7.4.
That's a huge drop.
Well,
yeah.
it's AJ Epinesa's second contract too,
because
he only signed for 2 years. I think.
I don't know. You guys might agree or disagree. I think Epinesa plays like Rousseau plays like an 8 to 9-ish D end. Maybe 10, not 13.
He's got upside though. Still, I think he's got legitimate upside.
Show me though.
I get it. He's a young guy. I think he's
What
he's
year is he
prime.
in? 4?
He's 4.
4.
So,
4.
I get it though, but I think he's taken a step. Last season, he was kind of unnoticeable. This year, he had some really good games in the beginning of the season. He kind of dropped off a little bit. But when he makes plays, he makes plays. He shuts things
Why
down.
can't you talk like this? Never mind. I'm not going to get into that. Go ahead. Sorry.
What we need
Southern
is
tier.
We
Cinnamon
need to be the Lenovo pizza of our defense.
Yeah, consistent.
Be consistent.
Yep.
See, did you see what I did there?
I do.
I love it.
No, but really, if he was consistent, I don't even need his peak games.
Yeah.
Or his spot. Just be consistent. And
the one thing I would say is he's good against the run, which a lot of defensive ends aren't.
okay. Well, in general, we weren't good against the run. So
No.
Yeah,
not-
we were
not
horrible.
good.
Yeah.
Hey, did you guys see on the Bills website today? They're made some updates with the coaching staff here. Sorry to jump around, and then I'm going to get into that.
I did see
Special teams guy.
They got a special teams coordinator.
that
Is
was
Chris
the-
Tabor from a couple days or
Yeah, that
weekends
was
ago.
last week. But
Then they hired a Ryan Nielsen, senior defensive assistant. They hired Mike Pellegrino, nickel coach.
okay,
And
Is he the guy
then
that makes the sparkling water?
it looks like him.
Okay.
And then they got an assistant defensive line coach as Jason Rebovich, who looks like he came from Green Bay. And then did I see Kyle Williams?
he didn't sign yet, but they're supposedly talking to him to bring him in to be. Actually, I thought it was a D-line coach.
That's what I thought.
So maybe they're not bringing him in if they brought that guy in.
I don't know. And then who else did they recently? Was there anybody else? No.
I did see on not Bills related, Kyle. Ohio State brought in Matt Patricia for their defensive coordinator.
I didn't see that. Good or bad?
That's really. I think it's good. I think he's a solid defensive coordinator. He's just not a head coach.
Yeah. Okay, so we're talking about salary cap. What are everyone's thoughts about James Cook? Yeah. Is he worth $15 million?
I would say no.
I agree.
He's good, and he had a good year. The last 2 years, he had good years, but I don't think he's worth $15 million.
What do you think he's worth? 12?
Yeah, 12, 13 maybe. 13 at most.
What's Derrick Henry?
He probably makes a ton of money. I don't know.
I think he's in that same
I
ballpark.
think Derrick Henry is kind of like an anomaly, though. Mike, you were saying about how he's played forever.
Yeah, he's an anomaly. Yeah. He's a freak.
Yeah. With James Cook, everything that everybody said about him only playing a certain amount of years and all that stuff, that's all true. I'd like for us to not be the team to pay $15 million to a running back, especially when I personally like Ray Davis a lot. So I think Ray Davis is good. Next year, after the year, next draft, not this draft, but next draft a running back higher, and see what happens.
The problem will be is if you don't pay him, is if he's already coming out talking like this, can you already kiss him goodbye if you don't pay him that? And then do you really want to lose him?
I mean, I feel like they could probably throw him a little something because he had He tied O.J. Simpson's record for the regular season for rushing touchdowns, I believe. So they could throw him a little something, I'm sure. But
Henry, 2 years, $16 million. Signing bonus, 7.7. I'm sorry, 7 million over 2 years. So
He's getting
that's
paid.
what he's getting paid. But I mean, certainly was full value.
What
for
about
that
Barkley?
contract.
What's Barkley's?
You gave me a
oh,
second.
Barkley was 3 years. I know that. I don't know the average, but
Is he the highest paid running back currently? So what'd you say?
know.
He's at 16?
Yeah, for 2 years.
I mean, Barkley, like obviously he just won the Super Bowl. He had over 2,000 yards. All that worked out, but not everybody is going to do that.
$37 million over 3 years with $26 million guaranteed. Saquon Barkley.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're right. I mean,
Huge value.
Yeah.
Humongous value.
Yeah. So come on. I mean, how often do you get paid the money and then you go out win a championship and break records? And
Yeah, he's
the other thing is James Cook plays like 50% of the snaps.
He does.
So if you pay him that, is he going to be like your number one
Well,
back?
that's the question. Like, what about Ty Johnson? I thought it was spectacular. He's a free agent, but hopefully we sign him back, I think. But do you not re-sign Ty Johnson and make Cook do more work and then have him get hurt and, see how that works? Because Cook's had 3 years already.
How
So
can you
it's his
justify
first year.
paying a guy like that
I don't think you can.
$15 million if he's going to be sharing the backfield?
I mean, he is explosive. He has good
Sure.
explosive plays. We've all seen the highlights. But I don't think you can pay him that kind of money. I just don't.
it's very difficult. And I'll say it's difficult because I have Saquon Barkley's stats up.
Who?
Saquon Barkley.
Saquon.
Sorry.
Saquon?
Saquon. It is Southern tier cinnamon apple. Nothing in his history would have led you to believe he was going to have the season he had. Like nothing. Like I get it. It's with the Giants.
I mean, he's good.
I mean, he was, but nothing. If you look at his stats, he doesn't come close to approaching what he did this year.
All right.
And
I
that
agree.
just tells you how difficult it is to really market these running backs.
Look at Saquon's offensive line this year
I
compared to
get
what he
it.
had.
I get it, but
100%.
It's which is true, and
Not to take anything away from him.
no, but
Yeah.
I hope that's kind of where Buffalo. You know how in any league they look around. They won the championship. Let's mirror them.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the Buffalo Bills are a step or two ahead, where they've invested in an offensive line where they're going to be able to kind of perform, protect Josh, but also maybe upgrade their running game in the sense that they'll be able to be like that.
Yeah.
Instead of signing all these defensive ends and D tackles and having a great front four, maybe they continue to invest in their offensive line. But I mean, last year, total yards for the season was 962. And then he goes off for 205, 2,005 yards.
Yep. Yeah, and the other thing, too, is like we have Josh Allen. So I know everybody wants to eat and all that good stuff. I'm a firm believer in running the ball. You need to do it to be able to pass the ball as much as you do. But at the same time, like having Josh Allen there, I just don't see paying a running back $15 million a year or more.
Right.
Seems like the wrong place to invest the money.
Yeah, exactly. You could get a wide receiver and, I don't know, a backup offensive tackle, which we've been blessed with. Like this year, we were blessed with pretty good. Like nobody really got hurt on the offensive line.
Right.
That's not always going to happen.
Yep.
And I'm in no way comparing these two as far as like saying Ray Davis started one game this year, 92 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
So that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, I think Cook he's very explosive. He's a good player. But on the other hand, Ray Davis, I think, is a good player. He's a rookie this year. He's only getting better. And I think he throws a little bit of a different game at you, too. So, I feel like Ray Davis and maybe you draft somebody next year after you use up Cook a little bit more next year. You draft somebody after next year and see what happens.
Okay, forgive me. I went upstairs for a second. Do you consider using Cook as trade bait?
Wow.
Yeah, you could.
I would.
You're looking for a Myles Garrett. You're looking for a
there
Max
you go.
Crosby.
Does Cleveland need a running
Cleveland,
back?
yeah, they do because
Chubb.
what's his name? Chubb. He was hurt, but now he's a free agent.
Yep.
All right,
So-
somebody call Brandon Bean. Let's get this. Let's get this going.
We have it all figured out down here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So just my answer to that is yes. I think that he is at the top of his game right now. He's probably at the highest value that he'll be. Do we want him? Of course we do. I mean, the guy was dominant for us.
Not at 15.
Not at 15 million. So if 15 million is his number and you're going to risk holding out.
See ya.
Yeah. Use
He
it for
gone.
trade bait.
He gone.
Yeah. And someone might pay him 15.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Clearly, Cleveland will pay anybody anything. So just send him over there.
I was just going to say that.
Does Dallas need a running back?
They do.
They do. They brought back
Zeke.
I mean, if they're bringing back Zeke, they're desperate. So, yeah.
So let me ask you this. Diggs is counting as cap money, right?
He'll be gone this year.
Okay, so when that comes off, does that, because I see these things on the internet where the salary cap is going up.
Yep.
25 million or something.
Yeah, Diggs cap hit is not with us this year anymore.
Right.
Right, but they're saying that the Bills are one of 4 teams that are still above the salary cap still, even when it went up.
Yeah,
is that because Diggs' money hasn't come out yet?
I honestly don't know, but they're saying that we're 14.5 in the hole.
I don't think that's the case when it comes to league year. It might be right now.
Yeah.
But I thought we were going to be under. I really did.
Yeah, see
I
that's
agree.
the bad thing about this time of year. Like they haven't done any free agency yet, not for like 3 weeks or so, and so there's so much up in the air right now.
And there's
you
that
just
whole
don't know.
June 1st thing. Like I don't understand that. I'm not in the front office of any NFL team or the league. I don't understand what's the difference if I cut him now or June 1st. What's the difference?
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
fiscal year.
It's colder now.
That's true.
Guess we need to hire an electrician to put some heat down here.
Well, that's true too.
Yeah, if anybody knows a good electrician, let me know.
So with the salary cap going up, though, does that help? I mean, obviously it will help them, but does it help them enough?
I think so. Look at Bean's done.
Yeah.
We've had this discussion, I don't know, countless times. How many draft picks has he failed on?
Yep.
On and on and on. The bottom line is, year in and year out that he's been here, he's turned us into a competitive is an understatement, but a competitive team.
Sure.
Right? Yep. So I am at the point where the whole in Bean we trust is I am far more confident in Bean than I am in McDermott. And I'm going to let Bean do his thing. And he cut Jordan Poyer, Trey White, help me out here, the center we just talked about.
Oh,
Mitch Morse.
Tremaine
Edmonds. All those guys, he just let them walk. Well, Tremaine Edmonds was a little different. He was a free agent. We couldn't pay him what he was going to get. And
he got crazy money from Chicago.
He did, but he hasn't done a whole lot there either.
Yeah.
It's like...
Who has done something that's left?
I don't know. I think your boy Gabe probably could have done better. He was put into a rough spot. That team was a little rough. I'm not sold on the quarterback. Help me.
Lawrence.
Thank you, Trevor Lawrence.
Hey, there you go, Bourbon.
I'm not sold on Trevor Lawrence.
Welcome back.
However, and he got injured. However, I think of the 4 main guys that we cut last year, 4 main being the 4 I just mentioned, he's probably the one that came closest to having what I would consider to be a successful season.
What about Floyd?
That's tough too. Floyd's good.
Yeah,
Floyd is good.
He walked too.
He walked because he wanted the money, and I just don't think he was worth that money.
I think he wanted a certain amount, and they just said,
considering what we already invested.
Well, and here that's the other thing too. That brings me right back to Bean. So we kept what we kept at the dollar amount that we kept. Didn't overpay Lloyd. All that kind of stuff. And look how we made it to the AFC Championship. You know what I mean? So, and we were, like Mike said early in the, what do you think kind of discussions, we weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
House money, all that kind of stuff. And look where we're at.
Bean's a guy who, if we were to let go or move on, we 10 years down the road regret the fact that we let him go.
100%.
Yeah. And that's why I think Pagula knows that. Pagula, the difference between the Bills and the Sabres is,
a team wins.
Well, and I pray for her, whatever, but his wife ran the Sabres. That was clear. And look where it got us, where I think with the Bills, it was they hired McDermott first, which was odd, then brought Bean in, but then just said, you guys run the show.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to do in the Sabres. Different podcast. Oops. Sorry, Corey. So
Oh no, we're gonna get into some hockey.
But back to in Bean we trust. I think that no matter what the cap is, I really think that he's going to do. I would say the top, 10% of the league as far as success with those numbers.
Yeah, Bean's pretty good. I mean, he
pretty good.
That's an understatement, I guess, but he doesn't have a lot to work with sometimes. Yeah. And so I think what they did last year with all the dead cap money, now they're gonna reap the benefits of that.
Mighty Taco is pretty good.
Colossal
Taco is Bean.
Yeah. There you go.
I like that analogy.
Can't fight that.
Yeah, I can't.
Is Taco Bell Lindy
Can't
Ruff?
disagree.
No, I like Lindy Ruff.
The GM, help me out here.
Oh, Kevin Adams?
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. That's a good one. That's a very fair analogy.
MJB, what do the Bills need to do on the offensive side of the ball?
Score more points.
So I think a lot of that discussion revolves around whether or not you think that Josh Allen is, we all know he's a tier 1 quarterback. So is he tier 1A where he can win with anybody? Or do we legit need to get a top high-level wide receiver one?
Okay, pause. Do you think the Bills lost because they didn't score enough or their defense let them down?
I think it was a combination of a number of things. I think
defense.
Well, we lost. I don't want to blame it solely on the officiating, but
no. Hang on, where is it? I have the answer for you, Michael. Josh Allen in the offense. Come on, where is this picture? I'm not going to find it quick enough, but our point differential compared to the rest of the league.
Oh, wasn't it like 960 points
or
something?
Astronomically different, like 177 points to the next team below us, point differential. So it was not the offense. It was the defense.
Right, it wasn't our ability to score points.
Yeah.
It was our ability to stop our opponents from scoring points. And that was the run game. For most of the games that we were giving up points.
I guess I was specifically talking about the Chiefs game.
Here it is. Just sorry to interrupt you. This is okay. Never mind. This is a bad analogy because this is actually since 2020.
Oh,
but still, since 2020, the point differential in the regular season, Buffalo is a plus 786. The next team behind us is Baltimore at plus 555. That's 236 points more over that time. I mean, our offense, no matter who you're putting out there, they're scoring points. How many 30? We joke because we pick the games, Mike, every week. We pick the games for the score and the winner. And every week they look at me, they're like, just the opponent. They want to know the opponent's score because they know I'm going to say 31. Because Buffalo scores 30 points almost every game. Right?
There's only 2 games, I think, this season. Not
Houston and the Baltimore. And one
maybe
other one,
3.
Right?
It was New England, I think, because they lost.
I think one of the Jets
it might have been 3 out of 17.
Yeah.
They did not score over 30 points.
So it's not the offense. That's my point. My point is it's not the offense.
But the Chiefs specifically, though, in the AFC Championship game,
well, they only scored 30 twice, and that was one of them.
Right.
So where I was going with what I was saying about Josh Allen is kind of relating to what you guys are talking about. I don't necessarily think that we need to invest a lot of money or draft capital in what we think might end up being a high level, runaway number 1 wide receiver who's potential to, completely dominate. That's going to cost us a ton of money. Yep. So I would rather invest in our defensive line.
Defense wins championships.
We didn't stop the run like the whole season.
And I would say how did we rank in sacks in the league? Like, it feels like we weren't great at pressure on the QBs.
We're going to let the guy with the iPad look that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's just because I can't see
Mike,
that.
MJB.
So if I have to take a guess at that,
would you
we're in the bottom half.
Okay,
for sure.
Would you entertain a Devontae Adams?
No, not for the price.
Because there's no way he's staying in New York if Rodgers is gone.
Not for what he's going to cost us.
So
do you think they should get another wide receiver that's like a 1A, 1B kind of guy?
Sure, but I don't see, because we know that scoring points is not a problem for us.
Right.
I don't necessarily see that adding that person to our roster fixes the biggest problem that we have, which is our defense and our defensive line.
Because we still scored the points.
We're still scoring the points.
I would like a breakaway wide receiver. I just don't want to pay.
Oh, DK Metcalf.
See, that's something I would entertain.
Sure. I mean, if we can figure out a way to get a
but then who do you let go? Because you're keeping Hollins, Shakir,
probably Curtis Samuel.
No, you can't because of his cap hit. You keep all those guys. You keep them all on there. There's got to be some, third string wide receiver that we had that barely played anything, or a Quentin Morris, or these guys who you can create a roster spot.
Why do you need a third tight end?
I don't know.
Especially if DK Metcalf, he is a tight end.
Yeah.
I think our last podcast we debated offense versus defense, whether it was draft or free agency or whatever, and I think Mike from MJB has solidified my position. I think Josh Allen is that talented that he could carry an offense on his skill alone, and that you sit there and you push the chips in on the defensive side of the ball.
Yep.
Like I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm like, yeah, he's one of those. If he's one of those MVP players, he's going to make the players around him, like a Shakir, like a Hollins, that much better. And we can kind of live off those guys instead of going with a 1A, 1B receiving core and just come out with Josh Allen and an amazing defense.
You know what I'd like to see, though, is an offense that throws the ball deeper than 20 yards.
We debated that, though. I'm going to push back.
I'm not saying it has to happen
I don't
every play.
necessarily think we need that either.
Yeah.
And actually, so the reason why Everybody Eats works is because we have Josh Allen. That doesn't work for even Matthew Stafford.
Right.
Isn't getting away with
Who,
that.
by
Jared
the
Goff
way, is
isn't
being
getting
shopped.
away with that
Did you
either.
see that?
He's getting shopped too.
New York?
That's what the Giants, that's what
I thought maybe the Jets.
Supposedly the Giants have a big interest in him.
We've talked about that. The game is much more about controlling the ball, controlling the time clock.
Sure.
You lose that when you're going for 60 yards of play.
I'm not saying 60. I'm just saying
but that's what the deep threat does.
The 5 and in is, kind of hinges your play calling if you can't.
Well, and here's the thing too: you've got a quarterback with probably one of the strongest arms in the league. None of us will debate that.
But we have guys that struggle at separation.
That's it.
Fair.
Yes.
And you've got the
100%.
So do you need someone who can break free? I don't want to pay top dollar for that.
Right.
That's just me. You get a DK.
Especially if you're gonna have to pay Cook or whoever. Right? I mean, shit.
So, do you go back and do you address the wide receiver in the draft and go for speed and go for that? We'll ask him because we've talked about this many times. You go for the Xavier Worthy instead of the Keon Coleman.
Yeah, what do you think about that, MJB?
I like Keon Coleman because he brings something that's so every one of our wide receivers has something that they bring to the table. Curtis Samuel's our speed guy, right? But supposed to be, but he doesn't seem to have what he did a few years ago. Nevertheless, once in a blue moon, he seems to be able to, get behind everyone and get open. Shakir is our over the middle guy, and he catches everything that's close to him, and he's really good at yards after catch. I don't want to say he's Devin Singletary area. I wouldn't refer to him as the human joystick, but he's a fantastic runner. Yeah. Keon Coleman is the get up in the air and bring it down. He's the guy that if you have to throw the ball into the corner of the end zone and hope somebody comes down with it, it's him.
Right.
But
he doesn't get separation.
we have
He
to
doesn't have
get
the speed.
We have to get to the point where Josh is throwing to the corner of the end zone.
Correct.
So that's where that 20,
Correct.
20-yard bomb, 25-yard, 30, 40, whatever. We need that breakaway speed.
Well, not even that. Where's the guy who can run the 10-yard slant and make it one move and to the house?
Right.
Like, when's the last time you seen a Bills guy do that?
Well, so the one play that sticks out for me for Keon Coleman was, I forgot the team, maybe the Titans, I think it was. They threw it to him on like the 3-ish yard line, and it hit him right in the chest and bounced off and got intercepted.
Oh, that's right.
And
Yeah,
so I
but
think you have to be able to
then
catch
you know
the
what? You
ball.
go to Seattle and
He had a monster game in
he's
Seattle.
one-on-one against a DB. The DB beats him. The very next play, they throw it to him again. He beats a DB and he pats him on the head.
Yeah. No, I think Keon Coleman had a good rookie year. He had a good rookie year. It was inconsistent, which is what a rookie is.
Yep.
So I think this year,
And he was
coming in,
injured. Don't forget.
He was injured, and that's part of it too. Is that he has to figure out how to come back from the injury.
Thank you, fucking Jordan Poyer.
Yeah, really. But I think this year, hopefully, he takes the next step. If he doesn't, then there's a problem.
Gentlemen, I got to step out. I just want to thank you. I want to thank you personally, Mike, for allowing us to kind of get together and spitball the Buffalo Bills, the successful franchise we have here in Buffalo, and it's been a really good experience. And I just gotta leave a little bit early, and I'm gonna have you kind of fill in if that works. You've been doing a great job so far.
I got you.
I appreciate that.
I'm pretty sure he just said MJB take the wheel.
MJB, run with it. Gonna cook the ball, hand it right off to you.
I'm not running fast.
Okay.
But I'll run.
We're going to pace this game. Kyle, thank you. Denny, thank you. Mike, thank you.
Sean, good to see you.
See you, buddy.
Have a great night.
We'll see you later.
Hey, Sean. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Be good, do good. God bless. Go Bills.
That's right.
Love it.
Where were we? Wide receivers. Josh Allen.
I don't know if there's any in the draft, but that would be a decent thing to do.
Why? Go after wide receiver?
Yeah,
Speed.
I don't know if there's any
Okay.
in there.
Let me present this to you. Raw speed. Just the guy runs a
Worthy.
40 and 3.2. But he's not sold. He hasn't sold anybody on his hands. Do you go for that?
It's like the guy in Necessary Roughness.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up.
What was his name? Gladstone or something? Featherstone or Featherhands or what
Well,
was it? Don't throw it to Stone Hands.
I was actually going to bring up the replacements.
Clifford Franklin.
Clifford Franklin.
Yeah.
Clifford Franklin is like a one-man cold.
A one
He's
man.
the only,
Cool.
he's the only one coming down with it.
That was a funny movie too.
Yeah.
Great one.
I mean, we've had this discussion about
How much have you had?
just that one up to the first line about all these like 2 receivers. Like we don't have a 1A. We have a bunch of 2s or 2B.
We have a bunch of 2s.
2s and a 2B or whatever, and it does work. But I'm just like you said, because Josh is so good, he can get a lot done with what he's got. But it would be so nice to have like a DK Metcalf or
Oh, yeah.
so like I think I asked Mike one time, does it exist to have a guy like a DK Metcalf who is a big guy or a stud wide receiver, but yet is not your traditional prima donna wide receiver in the locker room? Does that guy exist? Is there a humble, everybody eats, but he knows his place, he knows his role. When his number's called, he's there. When it's not and you're winning, great, we're winning. It doesn't matter. Like I would love
Can
to
I
see
answer that again or no? Do you want someone else to answer it?
I don't think that person really exists.
I think the only one that exists that I know of is in our locker room right now. He's a free agent.
Yeah,
Murray Cooper.
and he's beyond his prime. That's the problem.
He's beyond his prime, yeah.
But that's him.
But I feel like he could maybe.
Is he gone?
Well, he's a free agent. You've got to bring him back at an incredible discount.
See, that's the problem that we're going to have is that I don't know if he's going to really take like a hometown discount.
I don't know. He has said it. He said, I've made the money. I want to win. But what is that? What number is
Right,
that?
right. He's not taking league minimum.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? I would love to see that happen. These guys that say, nope, it's not about the money I want to win, and actually take a league minimum contract just to prove it.
I don't know that it was a league minimum, but you know who did that? He left. Sean left, but Ray Bork did that. Ray Bork.
Thank God he doesn't hear this.
He was at the end of his career, took a hometown discount to stay in Boston. They weren't doing anything. Trade deadline, they sent him to Colorado. He wins a cup. And Ray Bork said it the best. He said, I've never won my last game. And then he did, and he retired.
Yeah.
So
Kyle Okposo.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about too.
exactly. Same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
So maybe
It's anyone
Amari
that leaves
Cooper
the
comes back.
Sabres.
What's that?
That's like everybody that leaves the Sabres.
Yeah.
That's true.
Ryan O'Reilly.
Sam Reinhart.
Yeah.
Reinhart won a
dude, that
cup.
guy's a stud.
He is.
God, imagine what this fucking hockey team would be. All right, Corey, you can turn it off. Imagine what this hockey team would be like if they kept Jack Eichel and Reinhart.
Well, I think I don't know as much about hockey as I think I know about football. But I think that you need to have, like, you remember you saying a couple podcasts ago about like LaFontaine or those guys. You need somebody like that, like an ex-player kind of thing, where to kind of be like the head of hockey operations kind of thing. And I think you have to kind of winning cures all, but you got to find the happy medium between like, what happens now and then like the next 2 years or so.
Do you think Lindy Ruff is done coaching this team?
Yep.
Do you think they'll move him up into the office? GM or president of
You
hockey
think
ops?
Lindy Ruff is going to be done coaching at the end of this season?
Well, you think it'll be before that he's gone?
Did you see this anonymous player?
I would be surprised if he.
What's that?
Just what Brendan said.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if he was
I
done
forgot that was
coaching
in
at
the
the end of this season.
Well, what you don't see because you're not in our group chat is Brendan, who is not here tonight. Brendan said a thing saying that an anonymous player or players have said that the game has moved on beyond Lindy.
Okay.
And that he doesn't know. He's basically, long story short, he's not a good coach anymore for the league that it is right now. That being said, I think he is a smart hockey brain.
Right. Keep him in the building.
Right. And if you don't want to put him at GM, get a president of hockey operations. Do you know the last president of hockey operations? I know it was LaFontaine. Prior to that was Ted Black.
Yeah.
And things weren't so bad at that point.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
And then LaFontaine comes in, and who knows what happened there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I remember that being not great, but I don't remember what happened.
Well, because they signed an NDA, that's why.
Oh.
They paid him and signed an NDA, and he went away quietly. That's what the agreement was. But one can surmise that he wanted the team to go in one direction, and the other, Kim Pagula or whoever, it was all financially driven, and they don't want to spend that kind of money. And
look what you got.
Yeah, when Pagula took over this team, Sabres, his press conference said, from this day forward, the only reason that the Sabres exist is to win the Stanley Cup. Well, the only reason they exist is to watch the Stanley Cup from home. So,
do you remember when he came in and didn't he come out and guarantee a cup?
Yep.
What was it? 5 years, 3 years, or 10? I can't remember what number he said.
But I do remember that. And
I remember the whole oil well thing about drilling for more money. If he needed more money,
yeah,
just drill an oil well.
And the stories that he would tell when he was down in Pittsburgh, and he'd want to listen to the game, and he had to find the highest elevation possible to bring in Jenna Red on GR so he could listen to the games and things like that. And he takes over the team, and we're shit, garbage. I know this is a Bills podcast, but
it's a Buffalo podcast.
I'm butthurt by the whole Sabres thing. So,
yeah, me too.
Yeah, I grew up hockey fan. My family's Canadian. My parents are Canadian. My father played junior B hockey. My father was my coach. Hockey was my life. I don't care about hockey anymore.
Well, speaking of that, did you watch any of the Four Nations?
All of it.
Amazing hockey.
Oh, my God. It was so much fun to watch. Every game was. Even the games that didn't matter were fun.
I'm like, this is the greatest replacement for an NHL All-Star game.
These guys.
100%.
So I have another group chat going with him and the bourbon guy, Rob, and a couple others, or Joe. And I put in there, I never, ever in my life want to see another NHL All-Star game, ever.
Shooting surfboards and flip-flops on the beach.
Yeah. No. This is what I want you to do. I want you to come out, and I want you to name the All-Stars. So Jack Eichel, you're an all-star. Austin Matthews, you're an all-star. And that's it. Now let's play something like the Four Nations. Now I did hear that the Four Nations is going to be like an every other year thing or an every third year because of the Olympics are going to fall in there somewhere. So I know it's not going to be every year, but I never want to see an all-star game again.
Yeah. Like I know the Olympics are next year. I know.
I mean, I can't believe how intense the games were.
Well,
like dudes were putting it out on the line.
Look at the 9 seconds into the first U.S.-Canada game, 3 fights.
Yeah.
And JT Miller, because JT is a big listener of the ZaBills, so JT Miller, I appreciate you going out there and getting your ass kicked, because what happened was the Tkachuk brothers fought, dominated. Miller's turn, he got his ass kicked, but he did it.
Right.
And so hold that thought real quick. So what you want is you want tough guys in your team, right? You want teams guys in your team that are going to fight for you. They're going to fight, in this case, for your country, or if it's on a Sabres, you're going to fight for your team. Did you see the game? We were going back and forth in our group chat.
Rangers game?
Where Rob Ray took a puck to the face?
Oh,
yeah. Someone tweeted, Rob Ray's the toughest guy on the Sabres.
True.
Because he's the only one.
100%.
Yeah.
Unfortunately true.
100%.
They had to be told to go and do something about it when Tage Thompson got his bell rung.
Did you guys hear Rob Ray?
Oh,
he dropped the F-bomb.
Oh, yeah.
And someone posted, you should be able to say that on TV if you get hit in the face with a puck.
Yeah. 100%.
And then what was his response? They don't shoot it like they used to.
I bet you these guys shoot harder now.
Oh, yeah, he was kidding. But, yeah.
Yeah, he took that right in the face.
Hey, while we're talking about hockey, I wanted to have a little shout out to my nephew. He just played his first game last week. He had a second game yesterday. He had a hat trick.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no kidding.
That's
pretty cool.
amazing.
Yeah.
Still better than any Sabre.
Yeah, there you go.
Is he in the Timon pipeline?
No, more West Seneca.
Okay.
So that's
West Seneca Wings travel.
Yeah. Well, he's only 8, so he played his first game. I think there's only like 8. I think there's 8 weeks of games.
At 8 years old, it wouldn't be considered. It wouldn't be wings. It would be something else. Because at that age, they're not in USA Hockey yet. They're not under the USA Hockey umbrella.
Yeah.
But speaking of hockey, since he's not here, sorry to interrupt you, but since he's not here, Brandon, his son won their championship. Congratulations.
Yeah, 9U.
That's awesome.
9U.
And then Mikey, MJB, your stepson, has his championship game this weekend.
Chuck is playing. They're playing their league championship game at Cheektowaga. He's 13U travel, AA, and their league championship game is at Cheektowaga at 1:00 on Saturday, and they're playing their league rivals, the Southtown Stars.
Ooh, nice. Dennis, if you've ever seen a Southtown Stars jersey, they are the old Minnesota North Stars jerseys.
They are, unfortunately.
They're sweet. That gold, that green and yellow and white. Oh, there's some cool jerseys, man.
The old NHL jerseys sometimes were great. Like
the best.
Hartford Whalers were great.
Oh, Nordiques, all those teams. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know, man. Sabres.
Yeah, it's hard to watch. Like they won 8-3 the other day. Whatever
Saturday
it was.
night.
I didn't watch the game because
MJB. If and when, probably more likely when, Ovechkin breaks the record, would that bother you that a Russian's gonna get the record?
No, I've been a little salty over. Been a little salty about Wayne Gretzky ever since the infamous no goal in '99 when he backed the league and didn't have enough spine to say that goal should have never counted.
It never should have counted.
Never should have counted. You can see it on replay.
Yeah.
And the fact that he saw it on replay and then came out and said, "Oh, it still should have counted." I've been a little salty about, and this isn't me not recognizing his accomplishments and what he did and so on, but
he's a dick.
Man. Show some spine.
He's been under a lot of fire lately, though.
Gretzky has?
Oh yeah.
Oh, why?
Canadians hate him.
Oh,
he came out publicly backing Trump.
Oh.
And Canadians are all over him.
Yeah, I bet.
But listen,
and that adds into, I guess, the whole booing and I don't know, whatever.
This is going to throw a little fuel on that fire with I don't. Wayne Gretzky's the greatest of all time. I don't think he scores as many goals in this league.
Absolutely not. Every skater now is fast.
And Ovechkin.
And goalies save.
So does that mean that he's no longer the greatest of all time and now Ovechkin is?
Goal scorer? Pure goal scorer?
Well,
sure.
It's taken Ovechkin longer.
Best player to ever don skates?
However.
McDavid.
Yes. However, Ovechkin played through the clutch and grab era, too.
Yeah.
And that was a much slower hockey game and a much lower scoring hockey game, and he's still going to beat him.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I was going with it. And that's why it brings me a lot of joy to be able to say that I actually think that we can call Ovechkin the GOAT now rather than have to call Gretzky the GOAT. So that's my take.
Well, listen, here's the other thing, too. In a grinding playoff game, you have to make sure that you're covering Gretzky so he's not open, he's not scoring goals, he's not walking around you, all that kind of shit. Ovechkin will fuck you up.
Yeah.
If you're getting down in the corners, he's going to hit you and he's going to knock your teeth out. So to put,
well, not me.
Well,
personally.
No. Well, you have to be able to skate first. Fair. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But so my point is that you have the all around player.
Yeah.
He's the goal scorer. He's physical.
He's gritty.
He's everything. I mean, the guy's like 87 years old and he's still playing at the top of his game, right? I mean, really, how old is he? He's probably in his
43.
40s. Yeah.
And he's our age.
And he's playing like a kid still.
I think so. I think he's our age, Denny.
Yeah,
I watched the game the other night. He scored a hat trick, and it's like every time he's in his office, you know, they get him. I almost hit the ball. They get him the puck. He's going to score, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, he probably could have had 5 or 6 that night.
And you know what? The fact that Washington is good,
second in the league, second place,
and they're getting all these empty net opportunities at the end of the game, they're just going to have them out there.
Yeah. Why not?
Which I think is whatever. It is what it is. But
His hat trick was an empty netter.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, was probably a premature goalie pull. No, Mike. No, Mike.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I could just hear his wheels going.
I would never.
They pulled the goalie very early, but he had one opportunity. He scored. You know?
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's part of the game.
It is. I get it. You know, I get it. I still think Mario Lemieux was probably one of the better hockey players ever, but
I will say this though. You just mentioned it, that the greatest player to ever don skates is McDavid. I've had the privilege of seeing him play 4 times, and I'm actually going again on March 10th to watch him play. And when you sit back, I'm actually bringing my father to this game, and he's never seen McDavid play. My father, like I just got done saying, played junior B, all that kind of stuff. Of course, he was a goalie, but that's a whole other story. I told my father, I said, when you're at this game with me, just at least one shift, I want you to not watch the game. I just want you to watch McDavid. And don't take your eyes off him. To watch what this guy does off the puck is as incredible as what he does with the puck. You know, and 2 strides, he's full speed. And his full speed is night and day compared to the next one. To watch it live is something. If you have not had an opportunity to see him live, forget how bad the Sabres are. Just go watch him.
Right.
It's absolutely incredible to watch. Sorry, Corey.
Oh, he checked out like 15 minutes ago. So,
yeah.
Oh well.
Hey, while we're on the topic of hockey, the other day was 18 years ago since that Sabres-Senators brawl. Do you think that'll ever happen again?
No.
Or something like it?
Unless Rob
never
Ray's going to
again.
play again.
Not with this team. Yeah. I'll be interested to see what the roster looks like next year.
I'm not.
Can only get better, right?
That's what we've said for
15
said years.
Whatever it's been.
Have they been mathematically eliminated yet?
Not yet.
Yeah, they were on July 1st.
That's funny. Oh, well. Yeah. All right, folks. Guys got anything else?
This was nice, man.
Just want to,
MJB.
Thanks MJB again for all the help and partnership that you've
thank you.
given us the privilege to enjoy having fun doing our hobbies. And
we'll have to make you more of a semi-regular.
It's great to be here.
Come on. He seems to know what he's talking about.
I'll always bring at least one of these.
You're welcome anytime you
Maybe
want.
We'll just
maybe
have to
a
get
different flavor.
Sean a permanent Uber every
Uber,
week,
yeah.
every time. All right. Well, with that being said, MJB, thank you again so much
Thanks for having me.
for everything.
May I close this out?
Sure.
Be good, do good, God bless, go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
ZaBillsPodcast is a presentation of Kmart Productions, sponsored by MJB Electric and Dudzik Chiropractic. Thank you for listening, and if you haven't, please follow, rate, review the show. It helps with the algorithm. ZaBills is executively produced by me, Kyle. Executive sound engineering by yours truly, also me. Fundraising, also by Kyle. All artwork executively produced by Avery and Mark Rochon. What the heck is this? All music and lighting executively produced by Kyle. That's more like it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Please drive carefully and arrive home safely. Good night. Yeah, baby. Yeah.